Hi everybody, it's Maja Lepšanović. Welcome to the first introduction video where I'm going to explain what kind of materials I'm using, what is their purpose, what you can substitute them with if you don't have the same surroundings as I do, and some general information. So let's get started. We are starting with driftwood. It's definitely my favorite material. It's the material that I'm working most with. I find it on the beach on the north side of the island. For me, it's very special material. You never know what kind of pieces you will find, what shape it will be, what you can create from it. This is, for example, a piece of bamboo. It has its knots here and this kind of like parts of the root, and that's why I know it was a bamboo. But other than that, I really don't know where the pieces are coming from. I don't know from what part of the world. Sometimes they smell amazing also. They have a certain smell, so overall it's really nice material to work with. What you have to be careful with is that the surface is smooth, so you can paint on it. I don't treat it any special. I just wash it from the sand and from the salt. Sometimes they soak in salt so much that they will, the salt will come out on the surface even with acrylic paint on it, and then you have a problem. Or you can just, because the color can peel because the salt is very strong. But those pieces you can kind of like recognize when they have a lot of crystals on top. And then you know you have to really soak them for a few days in Clorox and water, and then you're good to go. What you have to be careful is that you don't pick up pieces like this, and in that case, as you can see, they're peeling, so you can't paint on it. The paint will not stay, it will peel off, and it's totally worthless to work with that. So you can find this ones as well. And those are not for paint. They're cool, as you can see, they're really nice, but they're not for painting. Like, you can find amazing stuff, like this chair, for example, piece of chair that I still don't know what I'm gonna do with that. And yeah, the final product that I showed in the previous video, it's something like this. Or yeah, so many options for that. But if you can't have driftwood, like if you don't live next to the ocean or river, then you can just use a piece of wood. This was something that I was working for some project. This is a board that I cut off. You can make dimensions, and it's working also well. You can cut it off in any shape you want, rounded, circle, rounded, whatever you want. And it's gonna work also with clay. So you have to just be creative. There is a lot of palettes all around in the world, so you can recycle. That's what I do sometimes also. So it's not a big deal if you can't find driftwood. Driftwood is of course amazing because it's unique, because of his shape, but if you can't find it, that's not a problem. So now we're at the glue part. This is the glue that I normally use. It's just like all-purpose glue. It's white color, and it's dries fast. That is why it's good for me, but any wood glue would work. So you can use white all-purpose glue also. It doesn't matter. It can be silicone glue, it can be the other one, was the name, I forgot now, super glue. So don't use those ones, but the ones that can dry together with clay. The ones that will go into the pores of the wood and clay and dry together, so they can bond. They can bond the clay with the wood. That is important. So this is the brands that I'm using. Elmar also, I think that's the name, the wood glue. So it doesn't really matter, as I said, as long as it's wood glue or white glue or like all-purpose glue. So this is the brand that I'm using a lot. When it comes to clay, this too, but this more, because I liked how it acts in hands and how you can apply it more easy. I have some of them here, so I can show you the difference. that are already open. So this is Creole, and it's kind of like more soft. You can play with it more, and when it dries, it doesn't crack so much. It's kind of more elastic. And this is Das. The reason why I don't like it less is because it's more, how to explain that? It's more dry, and it cracks more definitely, and it leaves more marks on the hands when you work with it. But that's not an issue. The issue is that this one is just much easier to work with. So those are the two that I'm using the most. This one you can find by Edith. She's ordering them, and Edith Mensedin's Supply, Aruba. She is also having all kind of like material over there, so if you go there, she have paint, she have clay, she have brushes, she have canvas, so you have literally everything you need to have for your art pieces. But you can also find it at Toys for Us, and I think at some other stores, but I always forget where I saw it. I think once they had it by Seasons and Beyond, and never again. So yeah, that's a thing. And this one you can find by Chinese stores. I don't know where. It's kind of like some of them have it. The one that they have like a developed kids section. Sometimes they have this thing, so you just have to like go into your favorite one and check like the bigger one that you think that they have. So they have it sometimes, and they have it by upstairs by Casa, Toys for Us, or Top Toys, I don't know which one is that. So I saw it there. But sometimes they also have by Dion, they have air dry clay. So what is important is that you use air dry clay, the one that dries by itself, that you don't have to bake, because it needs to bond with the wood through the glue. So I don't use any other clay. Others are not working for me. So that is the only thing that you have to pay attention on, not to use any clay, just this one, this type. Where we came to my favorite part, and that is paint. I'm using Amsterdam acrylic in Galleria here on the island. As I understand, it's not the best quality, but for me it works perfectly. It's kind of like I would say like medium quality paint, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I heard. Their pigment is pretty good for me, it's working. What you have to pay attention on when you're buying them is that these squares here, they represent how much pigment they have in the paint. So if it's full, that means it's a full cover. If it's half, it's a half cover. And if it's empty, then it's transparent. The same goes for Galleria. They have that one in the back, as you can see. So these are costing like $8 to $9 a piece. On Aruba, I find them by Edith, Mensedin's Art Supply, also by Plaza Bookstore, and by Seasons and Beyond. And if you're looking for it in Europe, you can find it on Amazon, or a lot of art supply stores have them, as I saw. The price is about the same there, so it's not a big difference. Yeah, if you can't have those, you can do whatever you want. Like, but as soon as that, like, don't use the basic ones like that the kids are painting with. That is not really gonna cover the wood. I just made a sample of how the coverage is, as I said, like transparent, medium transparent, and full. This is how they look like. So this is transparent, this is medium, and this is full pigment. When you really start applying them, then you see the difference, but now already you can see like how the difference between like this orange and this orange on the wood. So kind of big, and this one and this one. So if you can't find those, as I said, I'm not sure about the rest of the brands. I didn't try them, to be honest, except this one. They're small bottles, 59 milliliters, and they are really good with pigment, I have to say. I used them at the beginning when I was starting, and it was really working for me. They cover really well. Well, not maybe on the hand, and I have to mix it, but they're really, really good. And if you don't want to invest a lot, I would suggest these ones, because in the States they're like $1 or $2, I think. And maybe I have a price because this one is from the States, but I don't. And in Aruba they're like $5, I believe, something like that. So it's a good option for the beginners and for those who don't want to invest a lot of money at the beginning, because I have a lot of shades, a lot of colors, a lot of options for me, but this is my everyday job, and if you just want to do it for fun, I will warmly recommend this brand. Okay, we came to the part with brushes and tools. Now I realized, I don't know how I never paid attention on that before, but now I realized I mostly use these square brushes. They're soft and like square, as I said, and sharp edges, because they can apply the paint easy on wood, and it's like a big surface of appliance, like this one also. They're all synthetic but soft. What is important when you're painting on the wood is that the brush will not leave the mark when you make strokes, but on any paint, but on wood you really see it. So that's why I use the soft ones. That is when I'm, as I said, when I'm applying color on the bigger surfaces, and then I use, this is my favorite brush ever. This is number 0. I use it to make details with it, like little lines and like thin lines and dots. It's super important for me. I can't live without this brush. Like, this is like my number 1 tool. Then I use also this one sometimes if the strokes are bigger, because it has this it has this sharp point here, so it can actually leave pretty good straight lines, sorry. So for me it's working. They can be smaller also, but those are my favorite ones. And what I'm using also is this tool that I can leave points, little dots. It's only for that. You can't use it for anything else. And then when it comes to when it comes to like doing some kind of like effect, I use this tool. It's kind of like a sponge, and this natural one also. I think I used it in some of the previous videos to make like a kind, I don't know how to explain, like a kind of shady color. Then I'm using this one. This is my favorite for clay, where I can cut it and also shape it, push it, scratch it, do whatever I want with it. And then these two are to level things up, take off the thicker layers of the clay without taking out everything. And this one also to push it, shape it, do whatever I want with it. So that's it. Those are the basics. I hope you liked it, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me if I was not clear with something. As I said, you can always ask me whatever you want. Bye.